The hum of engines was constant reassurance. A metal tube hurtling through the stratosphere at hundreds of miles per hour. Inside, passengers suspended between destinations, between lives. It was a routine flight, just another day in the sky. But the universe often has other plans. A sudden gasp cut through the cabin's calm, followed by a low moan of pain, sharp and undeniable. The ordinary had just become extraordinary. Panic spreads quickly in confined spaces. A young woman was going into labor, here at 35,000 feet, miles above the nearest hospital. Then it happened. A sharp, piercing cry, not of pain, but of newness, of arrival. A baby had been born among the clouds. The captain announced the birth of a healthy baby. Spontaneous applause erupted. For a brief time, Flight 714 was not just an aircraft, it was a cradle, rocking gently in the arms of the sky. The celebration continued to the ground. When wheels touched tarmac, it wasn't just arrival, it was triumphant return. Paramedics waited, but so were news crews. Word had traveled fast. The world wanted every detail of this incredible event. A story of hope, a bright spot in the daily news cycle. The media frenzy was immediate and intense, but then strange quiet fell. After the initial storm of attention, the story simply faded away. Journalists who tried to follow up found themselves at dead ends. The mother and child seemed to have disappeared completely. It was assumed they wanted privacy, reasonable after such public birth. The world moved on to the next story. Years later, a historian researching aviation events stumbled upon the case. He tried to find official records, a birth certificate, a passport, anything. He found nothing. It was as if the child, born dramatically before over 100 witnesses, never officially existed. The miracle had vanished, not just from headlines but from the official documentation of life itself. The discovery that the sky baby was a ghost in the system launched a new, colder kind of inquiry. This was no longer human interest. It was mystery. Investigators began digging. They started with witnesses, trying to track down passengers and crew from Flight 714. But time had scattered them across the globe. Memories, once sharp, had softened with passing years. When they found former passengers, accounts were frustratingly inconsistent. Some remembered a baby boy, others were certain it was a girl. Descriptions of the mother varied wildly. The task was like reassembling a shattered mirror. Each piece reflected a slightly different version of truth. Everyone agreed a baby was born, but crucial details were lost in fog of emotion and faded memory. Official channels offered even more obstacles. The airline, under new management, claimed records from that era were lost in corporate merger. Government agencies had no entry for a child born on that date, that flight path. It was a bureaucratic black hole. Every lead circled back to the same conclusion. A spectacular public event had left behind no official trace. It defied logic. It defied process. Without facts, human nature fills the void with theories. The story became a canvas for speculation, ranging from the plausible to the fantastic. The most straightforward theory: a desperate woman fleeing dangerous past. The unexpected public birth could have been catastrophe. She might have used false name, created new identity far from prying eyes. Another, darker theory circulated in investigative circles. Could the birth have been cover for something else? Some suggested illegal adoption ring, a child born in jurisdictional ambiguity easier to spirit away. The celebration could have been elaborate distraction, hiding transaction in plain sight. This theory is chilling, turning shared joy into calculated, cruel deception. The most enduring theory remains simplest, a story of someone who wanted to be invisible. She saw media attention as threat, used landing chaos to slip away, creating life built on anonymity. This theory speaks to deep human desire for control over one's story. The child, born in most public way imaginable, was perhaps destined to live the most private of lives, completely off the grid. Decades have passed since Flight 714's famous landing. Memories faded, paper trails grown cold. But science offers new hope. The rise of commercial DNA testing has revolutionized missing person searches. It has connected families separated by decades and continents. For the Sky Baby mystery, this technology represents a powerful new tool. A single DNA sample could be the key that unlocks the entire case. The effort now focuses on passengers and crew, Investigators worked to identify anyone on that flight, hoping to persuade them to take DNA test. The logic is simple. If the Sky Baby, now full-grown adult, or any close relatives ever used commercial DNA service, a match could appear. A connection could be made. It's searching for genetic needle in global haystack. Media plays crucial role in renewed search. New documentaries, podcasts, articles bring the story to new generation. This serves two purposes. Might jog old witness memory or reach the child themselves. This raises profound ethical question. What if the child doesn't want to be found? What if their mother's silence was deliberate protective act? Any discovery must be handled with incredible sensitivity, balancing truth with privacy rights. The story of the baby born on Flight 714 remains suspended in time, a strange intersection of personal history and public record. The event was pure humanity, strangers united by miracle of birth, thousands of feet in air. It was perfect story, but its aftermath is lesson in fragility of truth. How can something so real, witnessed by so many, leave behind such faint trace? It challenges our understanding of how life is recorded. This is more than unsolved case. It's become modern folklore. A ghost story for the jet age. It speaks to anxieties about identity and anonymity in a world that seems to know everything about us. The idea that person could slip through cracks, be born, then vanish from all records, is both terrifying and fascinating. It suggests systems we rely on aren't infallible. There are still shadows where person can disappear. The fate of the Sky Baby may never be answered. Perhaps they're living ordinary life, unaware of extraordinary entrance. Perhaps they know the story and chose to keep their mother's secret. Or perhaps truth is stranger than any theory imagined. Ultimately, this tale is an echo in the jet stream. A story hanging in air long after the plane landed. A reminder that for every documented flight, countless untold human stories play out in the seats. A life that began between heaven and earth, then vanished into thin air, leaving us with nothing but questions and the endless open sky.